All right, I think we're live. Good morning, everybody. This is Adrian with BestLogic Staffing. I am one of the lead recruiters here, and today we will be going over the quarter two 2022 trends that we've been seeing in the job market. We did a video for quarter one's trends, and to be quite honest with you, there has been not a lot of updates. However, more, I'd say, expansions off of what has been happening in the first quarter. So to start it off, job posts are now 57% above the pre-pandemic baseline, meaning that in 2020 there were about 57% less jobs being posted up on Indeed, Career Builder, Monster, ZipRecruiter, you name it. Any of those job board websites, right now has increased their numbers in terms of how many positions are on there and who's hiring. So before that, hiring was actually expected to grow around 51%, and that's throughout all industries, meaning that's throughout healthcare, IT, manufacturing, engineering, retail even. So it's good to see that there has been some improvements on the job market. A lot more companies are looking for talent. Beforehand, back in 2020, companies were doing a hiring slowdown, or even just shutting down their hiring process and taking a step back to reevaluate their process and their organizational goals. So right now, even though we are getting more applicants and more jobs being posted, there is a slowdown in staffing, meaning that there is a slowdown in contingent labor. So there's an increased demand for temporary labor, contingent labor, whatever you call it. However, there is a shortage of candidates out there who are willing at least to do contract work. So a lot of these companies, they may not have the opportunity or the availability to give out a direct placement opportunity or a direct hire opportunity right off the bat. Some companies are, trying to work their way back into the industry, into the sector, back into the economy pretty much. So that's really one pain point of the staffing industry right now, is that there's just not a lot of talent out there who are willing to do that. So I'd actually like to go a little bit more in depth and explain contract labor a little bit more. Honestly, it's not a bad thing at all. My philosophy on contract work is that you can use it as a really great stepping stone to actually, get better positions after the fact. And some companies may look at it one way, but there are ways you can convey that you have been working a contract assignment on your resume as well. So it doesn't look as if you were jumpy, as some employers like to call it. So contract work is really not that bad. I think it could be a really great way to gain new skill sets. Not only that, you can truly actually maybe even find a long-term position with a contract position. For example, you may have started with a company for, let's say, 3 months. But within those 3 months, they saw your attitude, they liked how you work, and they want to hire you. So you never really know. For example, me personally, I've hired candidates for contract positions. And at the end of the contract duration, the company came back and asked if they were available to be hired full time. So that's always a positive when you're looking at contract work. So let's see. Another thing that I've been noticing, or we've been noticing, is an increase in salaries. Obviously, after 2020, we need to increase the salaries. Like a lot of employers are realizing that as well, and not only are they increasing salaries, but they're also adding new benefits to their packages. So on top of increasing the compensation rate, some companies are even offering a 4-day work week, which I know some of the big tech companies, such as like the Silicon Valley companies such as like Facebook, or Meta now, Twitter, Tesla, they're all kind of looking at a 4-day work week. Minus Tesla. I don't think Tesla's really doing that. They're on a different wavelength. So a majority of companies now are also transitioning back into the office / like brick and mortar. I've actually spoke to a couple candidates who were saying that their companies are they went fully remote during 2020 to tackle COVID. However, right now they are looking to get back into the office. So some candidates are, open to that, but some candidates have realized that they work best under a remote/hybrid condition. So some candidates are looking at a new opportunity with a company that could do that. And some companies are looking to fully transition into remote. So I'd say that in the next upcoming years, there's probably going to be a great divide in terms of companies that are going to do remote or companies that are requiring you to be on site. So another thing in my research when looking at what's been changing in the job market, I guess the age range of candidates between 25 to 54 of the labor force has increased by about 3%. I guess that gives us a good idea as to where the rest of the labor force is. Sorry. So another thing about that is counter offers are also increasing. So we've been noticing a lot of candidates have been getting a lot of counter offers during the end stages of interviewing and everything. So that tells us that companies are really trying their best to retain employees, which means that the kind of like the war on talent, so to speak, is definitely out there. So candidates or companies are definitely going to try their best to attract new talent, continue their talent, retain the talent, sorry. And that comes through more increased salaries, better benefits such as a greater work-life balance, maybe even providing some hybrid remote opportunities, as well as just trying to secure the talent in any way as possible, offering more money to the point where it even kind of inflates the labor rates. So that's just one thing to keep an eye out on when you're applying for jobs or even taking a look at a counteroffer too. And another thing that we've noticed is companies are hiring more for soft skills now rather than hard skills. So for example, let's say a company that was hiring for a software developer position, they were looking for someone with that exact same, specific software. A couple years ago, a company may have only been talking to candidates with that specific software. However, we've been noticing some clients are open to talking to candidates with, let's say, a software that's a little bit less detailed as the mentioned one, or maybe a different software that's similar, same, has the same concept, provides the same service, same solutions, but the candidate just has a different understanding of it. So some companies are willing to talk to those candidates now. A lot of companies are realizing that they do need a fresh perspective. They need new ideas, so they are willing to go back and revisit candidates who don't meet 100% of the job requirements, but are willing to see what they can do to grow the candidate. So really, not a whole lot of updates from quarter one to quarter two. I think the main updates will happen when we take a look at the end of the year, around, I'd say probably November to December time. We'll start to understand exactly what's been happening with this whole year, and at that point we can definitely compare it with 2021 to see exactly how everything has been changing. So that pretty much concludes it for today's webinar. If you guys have been seeing anything that's been prevalent on the job market, definitely feel free to share. We're always open to hearing what you guys have been seeing, because we specialize in a lot of permanent positions. However, I know that there's a lot of contract work out there that needs talent, so we would love to hear anything that we can do to help, or kind of come up with a strategy to attract more candidates for those opportunities. So this is Adrian with BestLogic Staffing. I'm signing off, and thank you so much.